Syracuse.
Sierra Toomey getting her first start for North Carolina, and this is going to be a Syracuse team that has to win in the paint. They've got to play the game inside out. They've got to stay with North Carolina on the glass, and they've got to keep North Carolina out of their transition game.
Yes. Syracuse, a very good offensive rebounding team, one of the best in the ACC, as you see their starting five. No changes there. Woolley, Burrows, Camp at the point, Wood and Verjao inside. Shot clock going down. It goes out for the three from Woolley. And here comes Renaya Kelly, so quick down the floor. Back-to-back 20-point games, and she starts off with a layup.
Now that's what I'm talking about for Syracuse, keeping her in front, not allowing her to dictate tempo up the floor.
Woolley working the baseline. Verjao. Jump ball called. North Carolina ball.
When you're playing against North Carolina, you have to get the ball below the free throw line. You have to be able to attack the gaps. You got to get inside out against their defense, because they will load and they will stay connected. So you have to move the ball into those areas.
Gakdeng back to Kelly, and wasn't quite ready for the return pass. Gakdeng.
I think usually on those single-side two-man game, you're looking for the bounce pass in that situation. If that had been a bounce pass, I'm sure Gakdeng would have connected.
Now North Carolina able to pick up the 1-point win over NC State in their last game, really without Alyssa Ustby. As we mentioned, she left less than 3 minutes into that game. Debbie, you have to imagine that really is a big loss they're going to have to try to figure out in this game on the road at Syracuse.
Well, I don't think there's any question when you lose a player the caliber of Ustby on the glass and as a facilitator in their offense. And let's see if Syracuse can get into the front line depth of North Carolina.
Tyra Wood with the first points, but Lexi Donarski answering from outside for North Carolina.
See, those are the things and mistakes that you cannot make back-to-back in transition if you're going to pull an upset over a top 10 team. That's 5 points in transition. All of North Carolina's points so far in the game.
Verjao turns it around for 2.
Yeah, I think that's where North Carolina has to be careful. Syracuse has to pound it inside and play through the interior.
You mentioned Sierra Toomey, the 6'4" redshirt freshman, number 21 for North Carolina, making her first start of the season tonight with Ustby unavailable. Offensive foul called on India Navarre.
What a great job by Verjao, the 6'4" graduate student, reading that before it gets to her, getting established inside, obtaining legal guarding position, and drawing that charge.
Felicia Leggett-Jack at shoot-around today, imploring her team, especially her interior players, to be brave, to step up and draw those charges.
India Navarre on Georgia Woolley. That's a matchup to keep your eye on. Navarre's not totally face guarding. She'll be in some help, but her main responsibility is keeping the ball out of Woolley's hands.
6 to shoot. Verjao working it, has the size advantage, but travels.
And that's the other thing Coach Leggett was talking to us about. Her post players don't need to counter. You got the switch. You got a smaller defender on you. Go over your left shoulder and score off the glass. Don't counter.
She said to go, be decisive, make your move. Cost the Orange on that possession. Navarre had it blocked, but stuck with it. Toomey picks it up. And Syracuse ball. Good defensive possession there by the Orange.
Sierra Toomey wearing that face mask, got popped in the nose a couple of games ago. Got a broken nose playing through. I hope it doesn't affect her golf game in the summer.
I'm glad you have your priorities in order, Debbie.
I do, because I'm anxious to play golf with Sierra Toomey. She's a 6 or 7 handicap. I say it every game. I'm hoping she's gets the message I want to play some golf with her.
Debbie is always doing scouting of some sort, but you didn't know she's also looking for those good golf partners to have.
I need to get Toomey on my golf team for the KL Cancer Fund golf tournament in August.
Kelly, Woolley got there and got her hand to the basketball. Georgia Woolley averaging 15.5 points per game. Kelly returned the favor, tapped it away, and 2 Syracuse players down. A little slow to get back up. You mentioned this North Carolina defense off the top, Debbie, and you well should. #1 in the ACC in both opponents' points per game and field goal percentage defense. Top 25 in the country in both of those categories. Gakdeng got good positioning for that.
And see, that's where Toomey is replacing Alyssa Ustby on the top of the floor. Ustby does lead the team with 3 assists, and most of her assists are in the high-low game.
Leads in assists, leads in rebounds for this North Carolina team. Ustby. That basket for North Carolina snapped a drought of over 2 minutes without a score. Kira Scott into the game for Syracuse. The Orange on a drought of their own. Had trouble turning it over this time. Finishing it off. Wood now 4 points in the game, keeping Syracuse within 1. Everybody pointing every which way. It looks like it's going to stay on this end of the floor. Shy Hawkins in for Syracuse, freshman, 23rd appearance of the season.
Now, Coach Jack is going to play a bunch of players. Like, she is going to run through her bench. Everyone has to know the scout. They got to be on point, and I think it's a good chance for her to give Woolley a break right now while it's a 1-possession game.
Got the media timeout forthcoming now, under 5 minutes, and just a 1-point game so far. North Carolina 7-6 as we take our first break from Syracuse. For you coming up, they gave me a lesson at shoot-around earlier today. Debbie skipped out on that, so you're going to get the lesson, Debbie, when that comes on a little later in the game.
I'm looking forward to it, Jen. I'm sure you bedazzled the Australians in some way, shape, or form.
Oh, well, I guess you have to wait and see. Back
door.
door.
Great cut. It's a great call off the bench from the timeout by Coach Jack.
1 point North Carolina lead. Tar Heels have won 5 in a row. Navarre knocks down the 3.
India Navarre, not known as a 3-point shooter, only 23%. However, she was locked and loaded on that one. You play her as a driver first, shooter second.
Kira Scott, freshman out of Daytona Beach, Florida originally, and then Virginia before coming to Syracuse, #1.
You got to recognize those switches. North Carolina switching on that action.
Shy Hawkins makes her first points of the night.
Now, Shy Hawkins had an excellent shoot-around. Locked in on the scout, got some extra shots up. I expect her to be ready to play.
Gakdeng could not get the roll. Gakdeng, the senior, transfer from Boston College in her second year with the Tar Heels. Stop from outside, no. Burrows will stay with Syracuse. Coming up next, more ACC women's hoops on the way. We'll take you to Castle Coliseum in Blacksburg. Carly Wenzel, Virginia Tech hosting Unu Agara and Stanford. Syracuse just coming back from their West Coast trip and takes it out of you after Coach Jack. Not an easy trip, and that is something Stanford and Cal are having to do, gosh, just about every other week.
Only North Carolina on the women's side and Wake Forest on the men's side have gone west and swept their games. That's it. It's a tough trip for both coasts.
And Syracuse was right there in the game at Cal. Had a shot late, but couldn't come away with the victory. So back-to-back losses on the road after 2 wins for the Orange prior to that. Lainey Grant, freshman, has really been playing well off the bench for North Carolina. Was huge in helping to secure the win against NC State on Sunday. Got herself stuck with the double team defensively, and the whistle for jump ball is eventually called. It'll stay with North Carolina, 6 on the shot clock.
Coach Jack looking for a travel. We had a great conversation with Coach Jack today. I mean, she's got her heart on her sleeve when it comes to Syracuse. Just absolutely loves being here. Grew up 5 miles from this building.
Gakdeng does run out of time. Just good smothering defense. Yeah, Coach Jack, Syracuse alum.
One of the great players in the history of women's basketball here. Got her jersey in the rafters.
First female to have their jersey retired. Syracuse. There's Zhao. Looking to the other side.
Gakdeng affects and impacts so many shots around the rim. You really got to go into the chest of her as a shot blocker. She's got such great length around the rim.
Grant into Gakdeng. Open look for Navarre. Woolley ready to run for Syracuse. She's going to take it all the way herself and get the bucket. First points of the game for Woolley. Ties it up at 10. No points in 2.5 minutes for North Carolina. Heels have gone a little quiet. We missed her the beginning. No Alyssa Ustby. She stayed home. Not available for the Tar Heels tonight.
Good job by the Cuse guarding that 2-man game. Down the lane line.
Olivia Schmidt, number 3 for Syracuse. Another freshman who's been getting some time off the bench. Foul called on the play.
Courtney Banghart is going to judiciously manage the minutes of her front line, right? With Gakdeng picking up a foul, I think it's a good time to take her out and let her sit down. I mean, if I'm Syracuse, I'm definitely going at their front line depth.
You could sense what Syracuse is working on in shoot around. That is where they wanted to try and attack this North Carolina team. Paint points so far, just a 2-point advantage, 6-4 for Syracuse.
Olivia Schmidt, number 3 in white, the 5'5" freshman from Staten Island, getting some early minutes here in the first quarter.
Both of these teams have used their bench to their advantage throughout this season. It's blocked out of bounds, still with North Carolina, 14 on the shot clock.
When you look out on the floor, really, Syracuse is taller at almost every position, except for Townsend and Schmidt. They're both too small ones.
This is Townsend, the transfer for the Tar Heels from Richmond. Grant able to pick up the foul.
Nice shot fake by Lainey Grant, who should be in high school, reclassified, and she has been a tremendous shooter for Courtney Banghart. She's done a nice job in her minutes for North Carolina.
Averaging about 7 points per game, shooting 36% from 3.
You know, without Ustby, the one thing that will change for North Carolina is the driving lanes and the space, because you have to come out and cover North Carolina a little bit differently without Ustby on the floor.
Townsend crossing over all the way in for 2.
Got to get the ball below the free throw line here.
Schmidt handling it for Syracuse, now finds Burrows. No points in the game so far for Burrows. Verajao, quick shot, and is fouled.
See, that's a good recognition by Woolley, because the switch comes on that cut, and you got to throw it in the post, and then you got to relocate off it. So North Carolina, without Ustby and their rotations, is ending up with a lot of guards defending on the inside on those switches.
Triana Crisp was the player to pick up that foul, putting Verajao on the free throw line. Verajao, a grad transfer from Michigan. coming to Syracuse. This is now her second year with the Orange. Perfect trip, 2 for 2. She has 4, and we're back tied at 12.
I think this is the way the game's going to go. I really don't see either team having the ability to separate from the other right now. It's going to be about taking care of the ball and executing. And North Carolina, as you mentioned, Jen, number 9 in the country right now, moved into the top 10 for the first time in a long time in their program's history, as Crisp knocks down the triple.
Thanks to that triple, North Carolina game yet to lose a game away from home.
I think when you have this kind of road record, which is outstanding for North Carolina, you got to play great defense and you have to have excellent guard play. And I think that's where Renee Kelly and committee have been outstanding for Courtney Banghart. They've won 10 of their last 11 games.
Kelly, 2 points in the game so far for North Carolina. Coming off back-to-back 20-point efforts. Verajao off the glass is good.
See, Verajao should have a big night. This should be huge for her because of the way North Carolina is defending. Multiple times she's had guards on her, and that time she turns and scores.
She's got 6 points in the game, averages 7.4. Toomey tried the shot from distance. Crisp, Townsend both out there, along with Grant. A lot of players off the bench on the floor right now for North Carolina.
Toomey is a better three-point shooter than Ustby, but Ustby has gotten better over the last few games.
Drive with the left from Crisp is good. Crisp spent first 2 years at Arizona State, first year with North Carolina this year. 5 points in the game.
That's the thing about Courtney Banghart's backcourt, is she has multiple players like Crisp, like Kelly, like Grant, like Donarski, who can get hot behind the three-point line. Great weapons to have as you get closer to postseason.
Verajao. Grant coming away with the rebound for North Carolina. Townsend, nobody stepped to the ball. Syracuse fortunate that wasn't a layup.
That's a defensive fake by Woolley, because she had Donarski in the corner and Townsend coming down the lane line to break for the Syracuse Orange.
Woolley fouled on this end, will go to the free throw line.
This is an experienced defender right here. As Woolley, oh, this is Woolley stepping through. I'm sorry, I thought it was a defensive play on the other end. Woolley doing a good job of getting to the free throw line, something she does 5 times a game.
Coming off a season high, tying 23 points in that loss at Cal on Sunday. One of the captains for the Syracuse team, 1,000-point scorer in her career.
20 of the last 23 games, she's been in double figures. Her last 3, she's averaged over 20. The difference for Woolley is she's on the top of the scouting report this year. And she had this player, maybe you heard of her, Deasia Fair, to play alongside. One of the all-time great scorers in the history of women's college basketball. Now Woolley's on the top of the scout.
It's different, no doubt.
It's different because you get the top defender on the perimeter. India Navarre has had her, Lexi Donarski's had her, and Donarski's a former Big 12 Defender of the Year. So you're getting the best defensive player every night. Donarski's on her right now.
4 points in the game for Woolley, averages 15.5. There's Zhao. Has the advantage again if she wanted it. Schmidt lost it, but it was last touched by North Carolina.
And now North Carolina's starting to dig on the post a little bit just to help out because of their undersized switches inside. You got to be ready to read that. Good switch by Donarski.
Woolley. Now Schmidt will take the 3. Good offensive rebound by Wilson. And nowhere to go, but in the hands of Townsend. Schmidt kept that alive for Syracuse. Held ball. North Carolina possession. Well, tonight at 10 Eastern, after our women's basketball doubleheader, the Nothing But Net crew has you covered. They'll break down the night in the ACC with highlights and analysis of every women's game and look ahead at the best matchups on the schedule for the weekend. That is right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. Always appreciate hearing from our Nothing But Net crew, getting caught up on the night that was in ACC women's hoops. Gakdeng working on Vera Zhao. Gakdeng is good.
I mean, when Gakdeng ducks in and gets hands and number to the ball, that is tough. She gets a bury in the rim. Like, Vera Zhao had no option there.
Angelica Velez, the LSU transfer, on the floor for Syracuse, but it's turned over. Crisp, who missed 9 games due to injury, starting to find her flow again. Not this time. Woolley backing it in, didn't see Crisp coming. A little willy-nilly out there. Crisp wants the 3, gets it.
Second transition 3, because she did a nice job getting a couple of deflections on the defensive end, even though she's a little winded, as you said, coming back from injury.
Wilson, oh, that's a tough take. North Carolina with the lead, 22-16. Treyana Crisp coming off the bench has made an impact in this one for North Carolina. 2 triples in the game, 8 points for the Tar Heels. The largest lead of the game right now, Debbie, at 6 for North Carolina. Gakdeng getting position, and this time going to her left. You got to build a wall right there. North Carolina getting the quality of their catch has been outstanding. Navarre off the mark from 3. Woolley has over 1,500 rebounds in her career. Started her career at Buffalo with Coach Jack. Followed Coach Jack here to Syracuse. Woolley, step back for 3. Yes!
My goodness. Against one of the better perimeter defenders in the ACC.
Much needed basket there for Woolley and Syracuse. Got to work it on the defensive end, though. Another drive to the basket. Townsend has 4.
Really nice job of turning the corner to get in the paint, being ready to make a play.
North Carolina advantage points in the paint right now, 12-8.
4 guards with Gakdeng on the court.
Woolley wants it again. Why not?
Uh-oh. She told me she wanted one of those shoot till your arm falls off t-shirts.
You know,
I might
Debbie,
give her one.
It's motivation to get some Antonelli gear. That's all I'm saying. Double digits already for Woolley with 10. Townsend wanted to go back inside to Gakdeng. Good idea.
And North Carolina's been able to separate a little bit because they've turned the corner on that screening action and they've thrown the ball inside to Gakdeng.
Both teams making just over 40% of their shots so far. North Carolina 44%, Syracuse at 42, which is better than most opponents fare against North Carolina. It's going to be a foul on Syracuse.
When once you find the hot hand, you better feed it. Step back by Woolley. Back-to-back triples, and Gakdeng's going to work on the interior.
And with our studio crew, the run for that double bye, how important it is to finish top 4 in the ACC. You get the double bye in the ACC tournament in Greensboro. Tremendous advantage, a little extra rest in the postseason. Gakdeng has 8.
Really nice job. Syracuse switches to the zone. Courtney Banghart's team ready for it because they prepared for it in shoot around today. Nice pass on the diagonal.
Woolley trying to go between the legs against a tough defender in Donarski, who's just not giving up an inch. Makes it a really difficult shot for Woolley. Navarre running the floor, saying, catch me if you can, but then Missed the wide open look off the bottom of the rim.
I'm not sure what happened there. Even Courtney Banghart's brow is a little frowned on that one.
That's a head scratcher. Jordan Navarre also is a little mystified at herself.
Donarski looks up for the challenge right now and trying to keep Woolley in front.
Travel on Scott.
Number 24, Dominic Campbell, return for the Orange.
10th turnover for Syracuse. They average 15 a game, so not trending well thus far in that department. This North Carolina defense can make life difficult. This has been a tried and true formula for North Carolina in this game. Get it into Gakdeng, let her go to work.
I mean, she has worked before the catch, and she is burying Syracuse literally in the rim. Look where Burrows is. She's in the rim. She's in the cylinder. And Gakdeng is continuing to go to work. This will be North Carolina's first free throws of the game.
And it's the second foul called against Kyra Wood. So she will head to the bench. Verjao back on for Syracuse.
So Coach Jack is over there working the trail official for a travel call on some of those plays on the inside.
Gakdeng looking to complete the three-point play and does. 7-0 North Carolina run. What do you want to see from Syracuse on this end of the floor, Devin?
Right here, ball inside. Try to keep moving it, get a reversal so you can get those switches and take advantage inside.
Woolley gets it out of the corner. There's a switch to the other side, and Scott. Looks like it's going to stay with Syracuse. Just 4.2 on the shot clock, though.
You got to be good in situations, and the officials are going to overturn it. They come together, and right here, you got to finish this. Like, you got to attack the closeout. If you make a little contact with that defender, that is going to be a foul on the defender.
Syracuse in a drought of nearly 3 minutes without a point now. North Carolina starting to pull away.
Got to have more pressure on the ball so you can't see into Gakdeng like that.
Navarre. Gakdeng doing it all for North Carolina right now.
She's a tough competitor. Weak side boards with that length. And she's got experience over the younger Syracuse players, Kiara Scott right now in this matchup. And Woolley, 3 triples.
All this quarter. 13 points for Woolley. Gakdeng also has 13 to go along with 6 rebounds for North Carolina. They're going right back to her. Gakdeng make it 15 now.
So Coach Jack tried one possession of zone. North Carolina scored on it. Syracuse has got to have better ball pressure, and you've got to get off the contact. You can't let Gakdeng continue to bury you in the rim. You've got to get off, pull the chair, and get around.
Under a minute to go in the first half. Foul on Syracuse as they were trying to go for the rebound. That'll be on Scott, her first. 3rd team foul of the quarter. 10-point North Carolina advantage. They've led by as many as 11. Winners of 5 in a row. North Carolina into the top 10 for the first time since the 2008-9 season. Wanting to continue that upward ascent.
North Carolina's doing a really good job of running their stuff, and they know where their points are coming from, and they're taking advantage of Gakdeng on the inside. They've missed a lot of layups around the rim, but Gakdeng has not. She has been very good at finishing inside. She's 7 for 10. So you got to credit North Carolina's perimeter for realizing where their offense is coming from.
Tar Heels have never trailed in this game.
So you got a 2-for-1 opportunity here, which I would try to get since you're down by double digits.
Woolley has had the hot hand, 13 points to lead Syracuse so far. Gakdeng defending, and Woolley stepped out of bounds. Foot on the line.
There's Gakdeng in ball screen action, doing a good job of being disruptive. One possession here for North Carolina.
North Carolina team that is unbeaten on the road this season, one of 2 in the country along with Notre Dame. 10-point lead at the moment. Will it be a few more before halftime? Townsend goes all the way around. Gakdeng keeps it alive. Jump ball. Syracuse will get it. 3.5 left.
This is just really good action by North Carolina. I love the secondary ball screen there. Gakdeng working hard inside. You got to make Syracuse come back to the ball here.
Verjao gets it to Woolley, gets the shot off, but no. 10 points, the advantage for North Carolina on the road here at Syracuse, where they have not won. Gonna have a second try at getting the ball in play here. Checking the clock.
Yeah, 4 seconds went off the clock. There they go. Reset.
Take 2. Here we go for half number 2, quarter number 3 from the JMA Dome. Jen Hildreth, Debbie Antonelli, and number 9, North Carolina in the lead. They turn it over to start the third. No Alyssa Ustby for Courtney Banghart tonight. Missed most of the NC State game, also unavailable for this game. Stayed back in Chapel Hill, but is week to week, according to Coach Banghart. Hoping they get her back. Wood trying to go to work, and Gakdeng stood her ground. Verjao comes away with it. Burrows, still no points for Syracuse. Averages 11 on the season. 6 to shoot. Woolley got the bottom of the net, and it'll be North Carolina ball.
At some point, Syracuse is going to have to speed up the game, but I don't think that's at this point. I think they stay locked in their quarter court before they start to extend. You got to do a better job right here defensively. Like, you can't let her duck in on you like that. You have to anticipate the duck in, and you got to get on top of it.
That is 17 points for Gakdeng, and you're right, it's pretty much over when she catches it.
If I'm Courtney Banghart, I'm going to that high-low until Syracuse stops it.
Camp. Limited minutes in that first half for Camp, and Verjao just has to hang on to keep the possession here for Syracuse.
Okay, so let's watch Gakdeng when she goes down the floor the next time, and watch how low she gets when she posts. She's an experienced duck-in, bury her defender in the rim, post player. That's her game.
Syracuse having some trouble getting it in. Eventually find Woolley, 7 to shoot. And a foul called before anything else can happen on the play. Against Gakdeng, that's her second.
Well, that's one way to get her out of the game, would be to stop her, would be to attack her on the defensive end, see if you can pick up another foul on her. Obviously, Courtney Banghart trusts her, and certainly with 2 fouls at this point in the game, I would too.
Here's the ACC Player of the Week, Renata Kelly, who we featured early. Just 2 points in the game. She does have 5 assists for North Carolina. Dinarski. Gakdeng got it well away from the rim. Back out to Toomey. Hits the 3.
North Carolina shooting better than 50% as a team right now in the game outside the 3-point line.
Toomey in her first start has her first points on this triple.
60% of the shots Toomey takes are right here outside the 3-point line. And with her size and her pick and pop ability, she's another weapon. Like I said before, Ustby is 7 for her last 11 from the 3-point line. She has worked on it and it has extended her range some, but Toomey is a really good shooter from the top of the floor in between the slots.
Dinarski tries her hand from 3. Dinarski, top 6 in the country in terms of active players with three-pointers made in her career. 331 now with the one she hit in the first half.
So Renee Kelly is trying to force Schmidt to the left. She overplayed her right hand past the midline.
Rainbow pass into Sanaya Wilson. Verjao. Burrows. Needs it and hits it.
Not pretty, not the way Coach Jack worked on it today at shoot-around, but yet it's a bucket, and that's what matters.
One of the three Aussies on the Syracuse team, joining Georgia Woolley in the scoring column now. Maddie Potts the third, who's on the bench. Should be a foul against Wilson.
See that time Verjao on top of that matchup with Gakdeng. And you see Syracuse trying to provide more pressure on the top of the floor and take away that high-low look.
17 points in the game for Gakdeng to lead all scorers. She has been an unstoppable force when she's caught it inside for North Carolina. Navarre splitting the defense, drawing the foul on the way.
You know what India Navarre has done really well tonight is go to the next play. You know, not worried about what just happened or what didn't happen. She's going on to the next play, and that's a sign of maturity.
Good look to Gakdeng. Verjao is there, commits the foul. Second foul on Wilson, put Gakdeng on the free throw line. Haven't seen a lot of free throws in this game at all. 4 for Syracuse, and that's just the second for North Carolina.
Way to go, Jen. You just gave the announcer jinx.
And now we're going to get a lot of fouls and free throws? Come on now. North Carolina extending its lead here in the third.
Look at Renee Kelly trying to make Schmidt play left.
North Carolina team #1 in the ACC. Scoring defense, field goal percentage defense. Amongst the best in the country in those two categories as well, top 25. Woolley forced it out over Donarski. Burrows fights to get the rebound. Gives Schmidt a look at three.
There's a little kid from Staten Island knocking down a big triple. That is just her 5th of the season.
Syracuse taking the points where they can get them right now. It's really been Georgia Woolley, the only consistent scorer for the Orange in this game. Toomey will draw the foul on the defense. So Woolley will get whistled for a second. No, that's actually Sanaya Wilson again, and that is her third.
North Carolina going small. They played with a smaller lineup a good portion of the first half. I want to say maybe more than 50% of their possessions were small.
And they still had a 22-8 points in the paint advantage.
And so now Coach Jack counters with a smaller lineup as well. They're playing some zone on this out of bounds play.
Donarski, Gakdeng, an uncontested rebound, goes over to the other side and adds to her score line. 21 for Gakdeng now.
She only has 2 double-doubles on the season. I'm expecting her to get another one as Woolley knocks down her 4th triple of the game.
And Georgia Woolley bringing it for Syracuse, but quickly the other way, North Carolina counters.
Yeah, that's where Renee Kelly has gotten a lot better because she can read the second level quicker. She's adjusted to reading things faster. When we spoke to her at shoot-around today, she said, I'm playing with a lot of confidence. I just feel confident because everything I've repped and practiced is playing out in games. That's when you know you got your game in shape.
Career high 23 for Kelly in the win against NC State. Back-to-back 20-point games where she set a career high. Also hit that mark against Virginia Tech. Verjao with 5 on the shot clock. Back out. Schmidt has to hurry. Verjao. Navarre got herself to the other side and adds 2 more.
Smart. Can't play on top of the defense right here. You got to get below the free throw line, in the gaps, through the post, inside out. Look where Verjao is catching it versus where Gakdeng catches it. As Schmidt hits another triple.
Well, the triples may just be what helps keep Syracuse in this thing. Still trail by 11.
One of the things Coach Jack told us today at shoot-around is Muggsy Bogues is a player that she shared video with Olivia Schmidt to say, hey, he was one of the smallest players in the history of the game, and so are you. But these are the things that you can do. Study this and become better, and she did.
A freshman helping to bring Syracuse back in this one. A couple of big threes in this quarter, Debbie.
How about this young kid right here? Waiting her turn, patiently working every day in practice, and then getting an opportunity against a top 10 team. Grew up in Staten Island. She's a heady little point guard, and as I was mentioning on the way to break, Muggsy Bogues, she didn't even know who he was, never heard of him, didn't have any idea who Coach Jack was talking about. But once she showed some video and said, this is what he did, he controlled the ground. Now, he was a dunker. Well, she's not going to be a dunker, but controlling the ground means your handle's tight, you see the floor, you read the second level, you can make all shots in the lane, floaters, runners, you have deep three-point range. And if you can do those things, then you're going to have a chance no matter what your size is.
Those 2 threes, both coming this quarter for Schmidt. 4 of 27 from 3 in her 19 appearances before today. Benarski knows how to knock them down from 3, not on this occasion.
And there's a possession of zone by Syracuse. And they're able to run off that defensive stance.
And Schmidt has been getting more minutes. Coach Jack loving on her freshman and the growth she's seen from Schmidt so far this season. Maddie Potts, the 3rd Aussie of the Australian trio for Syracuse on the floor, gets it over to Schmidt. Deep 3.
Shakir falls off. Schmidt, way to come in ready to fire.
Cuts the lead to 8. North Carolina has led by as many as 15 in this quarter.
Got to stay solid defensively here if you're Syracuse in this zone.
Benarski had it blocked. Potts coming in, and it'll stay with North Carolina, 9 to shoot.
It's a good switch to the zone, I think, by Coach Jack.
Gakdeng goes to the bench. Blanca Thomas coming on in her place, the 6'5" freshman for North Carolina. 5, Townsend picks up her dribble, gets it to Thomas, in a rather tough spot. Tar Heels turn it over.
Schmidt needs to fill behind that penetration right there where Burrows is. Nice job filling and knocking down back-to-back threes. The 3-ball has been the difference for Syracuse in this 3rd quarter.
6 for 6, Syracuse from 3 in this quarter. It's a 9-0 run to make it a 5-point game.
This is just a great steal by Schmidt. Eyes up the floor, advance pass, and then the fill behind the penetration gives you a wide open 3 in transition every time.
Verjao committed the foul, her 2nd. That's what's put Navarre on the line for North Carolina. Seven points for Navarre. The lead back to 7 for the Tar Heels.
Now look at the body language of Schmidt. Look how much confident this young player is.
In that last huddle, she was the one leading it. Woolley asking for a screen. Potts on the interior, tough shot. Crisp there defending for North Carolina.
Burrow tried to shoot that from her backside.
Townsend inside, Navarre running the lane.
UNC 52, Syracuse 43.
North Carolina with a great response.
Tar Heels haven't got one here at Syracuse since 2000, not since the Orange have joined the ACC. Not that many visits, to be fair, in that time frame. Still, it's been a while. And you're right, they did respond when Syracuse was making their run. Navarre just lost control.
3-on-2, and Navarre lost a handle.
Gakdeng remaining on the bench at the moment for North Carolina. Tar Heels leading scorer with 21 in this game. But the three ball has brought Syracuse back into the conversation. Schmidt short on that attempt.
I'm not sure she could even see the rim with Thomas coming at her at 6'5". Schmidt is listed at 5'5". Maybe. You know, Ivory's in the studio, and I used to measure Ivory with my tape measure. I might have to measure Schmidt.
Another turnover gives it back to Syracuse. Under a minute to go in the third. Orange sitting at 4-10 in the ACC. Their main goal right now, make sure they stay top 15 in the conference. Of the 18 teams, only 15 will make it to Greensboro in the ACC tournament. North Carolina, meanwhile, thinking they want to stay in that top 4, make sure they get the double bye. Also currently top 16 seed. Charlie Cream in the latest reveal as well.
Last time North Carolina won the ACC tournament was 2008. That was one of many for Sylvia Hatchell.
Burrows, 8 points in this quarter. She's started to come alive for Syracuse. Woolley had it blocked. Thomas was the only player back, and boy, did she do her job.
Well, I don't know how she blocked that ball, and it's still, and it's North Carolina's ball. Let's see here. She's going to say it was last to leave Woolley's hand on the block. You don't usually see that call.
It's got the crowd a little antsy here in Syracuse. Gakdeng back on the floor for North Carolina. Townsend. Ganarski hits the three. Well, it is even 20 points apiece in this quarter.
Okay, we're gonna start with good, like good job.
Good.
And then I, like your I.
I.
And then I might make a sandwich, like might.
Might.
Okay, so now say good, I might.
Good I might.
See how much better that was?
Oh,
all you have to do is break it down.
All right, so we can all do it together and say goodbye then. 1, 2, 3. Good
I
might. Appreciate those three having a little fun. And I do have some Aussie terms I'm ready to break out if the moment is right.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So get ready for that, Debbie. Oh, I think they might make Schmidt an honorary Aussie the way she was shooting it in that third quarter. 9 points for the freshman. Burrows also had a couple triples in that quarter. Schmidt on the bench at the moment. And the three ball helped Syracuse make a run, Debbie, and get close, but let's see what they do on this end of the floor, trying to keep Gakdeng quiet. Well, turnover helps. Woolley to Potts. The Aussie connection coming through.
The assist to Georgia Woolley. Potts from Woolley. Checking in for the Tar Heels
Well, this Saturday's men's basketball triple header on ACC Network starts with Georgia Tech and Boston College at 2 Eastern, followed by Chase Hunter, number 18 Clemson. They're in Dallas taking on SMU, and then Virginia Tech and Miami capping the triple on Saturday.
That Clemson at SMU basketball game is going to be outstanding. Brad Brownell has continued to do a good job. They have consistently remained in the top 25. Of course, Duke is in the top 5, and Louisville worked their way into the top 25 on the men's side. Louisville at Duke on the women's side tonight. A huge game going on right now in Durham.
Syracuse heading to Duke next on Sunday. So yeah, Louisville and Duke, North Carolina, all those teams battling on the top of the ACC right now behind Notre Dame. And Gakdeng is just such a presence both ends of the floor.
You got to make this move more decisively, quicker, step through that time. Gakdeng gets a piece of it.
2 blocks in the game to add to her double-double, 21 points, 10 rebounds. Did you say that's just the 3rd double-double for Gakdeng this season? It's kind of hard to believe.
She's had a couple of other games with double-digit rebounding, but she didn't score double-digit points, so this is her 3rd. You think she ought to have a few more?
I think she should. You figure everybody has to step up a little to make up for the absence of all that Alyssa Ustby does. I mean, Ustby, who leads this North Carolina team in assists and rebounds and is also one of their leading scorers.
You know, Courtney Banghart has the discipline of an incredible teacher over there at times when I think she might lose her mind based on some of the things that she sees her team do, knowing that that's not what they typically do. Yet she has great poise over there.
That poise has certainly been tested with all of the close games, the last 4 all by 5 points or less for North Carolina that they have won.
The scout report I want to know right now is how many neighborhood kids are in Courtney's house right now watching this game with her kids. I've gone over there to play hoops in that driveway before. That's quite a gang they got over there. They got about 12 ballers that live on her street, and they're all about the same size. They all wear a different North Carolina women's basketball jersey, and they can ball. That's right, I'm talking to you, Tucker, Eli, and Gray.
Yep, Eli and Tucker, we know, is the big, he's the big hooper in the family. Still a 10-point advantage. Grant on the floor now for North Carolina. That's her first points. How big was she in the 4th quarter, late in that game against NC State? Hit 2 free throws, then drew a charge, then made a big shot, all in the last minute or so of the game. Good look inside. It is once again Aussie to Aussie, Woolley to Potts.
Checking in for the Orange will be number 3, Olivia Schmidt.
Syracuse trying to close some ground on North Carolina. ACC women's basketball is presented by Ally, the bank that's your ally. Syracuse trying to cut into this double-digit lead by North Carolina. We told you about the Aussie connection. You can see it in action right here, and just maybe that's a ripper of a play. Some of my slang I decided I would try to work in for you, Debbie.
A ripper?
A ripper.
And it means?
Yeah, it's like a really good shot, a ripper,
Okay.
but they told me I couldn't put the ER on the end.
Okay, I gotcha.
All right. Woolley has been leading from the beginning of this game, although a little quiet, just 3 points for her since halftime. All 8 of Burrow's points have come in the 3rd, and Potts, all 4 of hers in the 4th.
A little run and jump in the backcourt by Syracuse.
A lot of good energy for both teams at shoot-around today, and Syracuse sensing an opportunity, perhaps knowing Ustby might not be on the floor for North Carolina. It would be a quad one win, their first ranked of the season if they can get it. Better defense on Gakdeng that time with the block. Sanaya Wilson defending. Wood calling for it inside for Syracuse. Schmidt has knocked down 3 triples in the game.
And look at Laney Grant with high hands in the face of Schmidt.
Wood. Tough to get a good look against this North Carolina team, but Wood banks it in.
That's her first basket of the second half. She went 2 for 2 in the first half. North Carolina having to deal with Syracuse speeding up the game. Timeout, Courtney Banghart before the jump ball. One official has a jump, the other one has a timeout.
Looks like they're going to give the timeout. The lead now 8 for North Carolina. Tar Heels.
I like the run and jump back into the zone. I said earlier that Syracuse is going to have to speed up the game at some point. Now's when you do.
Ready to get back in action. Fourth quarter, 5:31 to go. 8-point North Carolina lead. Syracuse +2 advantage, 6-4 in this fourth quarter so far. Good hands, good defense by Schmidt and Syracuse. The defensive intensity of Syracuse has really picked up in this quarter.
A major sense of urgency.
Wilson to Wood, Gakdeng called for the foul.
As aggressive as Maria Gakdeng has been all game. She didn't have any fouls in the first. She's got 3 here in the second. It's a good job by Wood to go aggressively.
Coach Jack liking what she sees.
Coach Jack's a competitor.
Wood, just a 67% free throw shooter on the season, makes the first.
And North Carolina has been in this situation. Their last 5 games have been 1-possession games, single-digit wins. They usually know how to close out a game, and they have been 7-0 on the road in these close games this year.
Meanwhile, Syracuse has been in some that they have not been able to win, including their last one on the road at Cal. We're right there.
You got to know where Donarski is in the zone. And Grant's not afraid to fire either.
Too strong on the 3. What a putback by Navarre. Big basket to quiet the crowd. Woolley.
She likes that right hand. She had a chance to reject the screen. The whole side of the floor was open for her.
Wilson back to Wood.
And Wilson had a chance to bury a smaller defender.
Woolley called for the travel. Well, our next gymnastics meet right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app is Sunday afternoon. Number 16, Stanford squaring off against Clemson at Little John Coliseum. Coverage begins at 4 Eastern. Syracuse has fought back in this one. North Carolina led by as many as 15, but this defensive effort by the Orange causing North Carolina some problems.
Another deflection by Schmidt. Welcome to the ACC, Olivia Schmidt. I know you've had a lot of time before, but this is a breakout game for this young player. Gets the tip right there. And then let's see right here. I think that goes off Donarski.
Yeah, it looked like it. That was the call to give it to Syracuse. Woolley.
You know, Georgia Woolley drew 9 fouls in the last game. She's only been able to draw 1. She usually goes to the free throw line 5 times a game.
Haven't been a ton of free throws shot in this game by either team. Just 6 as a team for Syracuse as a whole, 5 for North Carolina. And I know you're going to say I'm going to jinx it, but both teams are a combined 11 for 11 from the line. And for North Carolina, a team that does not shoot free throws very well, one of the worst in the ACC, taking advantage when they've gotten there. Kelly picked up her dribble. Quick look at the shot clock for Crisp, who's had some big moments in this game. Add another there, she's got 10.
She's been fantastic off the bench. The bench points really mounting up for North Carolina. 16 points off the bench, and Syracuse has 15 off the bench because their three-point shooting has gotten better.
Turnover by the Orange, back to North Carolina. Townsend, one of those players off the bench for the Tar Heels. Crisp. Gakdeng on the offensive glass. Schmidt trying to lead the charge for Woolley. Kelly was there. Donarski got the 3. 9 points in the game for Donarski, all of them coming from triples. 3 for 8 for Donarski in the game from downtown. Syracuse continuing to fight, trying to get back in the groove here on their home court after 2 tough road losses out in California. Woolley demanding attention, does draw the foul, and will go to the line this time.
I mean, she is strong to that right hand, and if I was North Carolina, I might dig in on this drive right here and make her pass because she's thinking score the whole time. So while you might have a shooter on the strong side and you typically don't help off that situation, I might stunt or dig or at least make her think or hesitate because that's what she does, and she's very good at it.
Syracuse timeout called. It's a 30-second timeout, so we'll take a quick break along with them. Timeouts remaining for both teams. Fouls to give. North Carolina on a 7-0 run. You know, you said it earlier, Debbie, when Syracuse has come after them and they had a really good push in the third, North Carolina has responded.
Yeah, and that's what you do when you're a top 10 team and you're playing on the road and you're short one of your players that matters and means so much to the success of your team this season, and Alyssa Ustby. And if you're just tuning in, she is home in Chapel Hill rehabbing. She is listed as week to week.
And certainly North Carolina proving they can play without her, but certainly would have some concern.
Now that's a backcourt violation.
Syracuse defense causing the 16th turnover now by the Tar Heels.
You got 2 point guards on the floor right now with Townsend and Renaya Kelly.
To make that 17th turnover. Schmidt has really been running most of the point for Syracuse in this game. Wilson driving on Gakdeng, who's got 3 fouls. Still not afraid to swat it away.
I mean, that's what you have to do, though, if you're Syracuse. I thought they would set the game with that tone right there. Driving it on the baseline at Gakdeng.
Instead, it was really all Gakdeng, especially in the first half. Wilson going to work again. Couldn't get the bucket. No field goals for Syracuse in over 3.5 minutes. Renaya Kelly, the ACC Player of the Week. Quiet night offensively. It's been a lot of Gakdeng on the inside.
Different ways that you can win. Different ways that you can exploit. That's North Carolina tonight. It's all Gakdeng around the rim.
Gakdeng with the double-double in the game. 21 points, 11 rebounds. Schmidt hit 3 big triples in the third quarter. Syracuse pushed it. Got it to single digits.
Check again for Syracuse will be number 22, Kyle Wood, with personal fouls on number 21.
Syracuse continuing to fight in this game, but
Fourth personal foul.
North Carolina
Team foul number 1.
holding their ground.
Well, I think North Carolina came in here with balance and confidence. They turned the ball over a little bit too much for Courtney Banghart, I'm sure, but their defense was solid. And Gakdeng was fantastic. I mean, she was unguardable around the rim.
Gakdeng had 15 points in the first half.
Another turnover for the Heels. They're not handling the pressure very well. I think it's because they're trying to dribble through it. But you know what? This is going to be great film for Coach Banghart and her staff tomorrow.
It's first of 3 straight on the road for North Carolina. They go to Louisville and then to Duke, their next couple. Burrows. Off the glass is good. Well, we've talked a lot about Maria Gakdeng and what she has done for North Carolina today, helping them to this 10-point advantage.
Well, she's been fantastic. The most important thing is her work before the ball comes in. Watch, she gets 2 feet in the paint. She's got great balance. She handles some contact. She plays the game low to high. She does a fantastic job of finishing inside. And her stat line is 21 points and 11 rebounds, her 3rd double-double of the season. And she's 9 for 15 or 16 from the floor.
And that makes Maria Gakdeng tonight's player of the game, brought to you by Carvana. Syracuse has done a better job on her, and it was exactly what you said, Debbie. They started making the passes a lot more difficult to even get into her in this second half. Got it within 5 in the 3rd quarter, but North Carolina opening the lead back up to double digits.
And I also think Coach Coach Jack is learning something about her team as well here right now. I mean, the ball pressure and their pressing and their sense of urgency on the defensive end has been really good here at the end of the game. You know, with their depth, it might be something that they might consider.
Bringing it earlier.
Well, Georgia Woolley has a lot of responsibility, right? And she needs some help, and Schmidt did provide that help in the backcourt for her. She handled the ball, she made shots.
I think that Muggsy Bogues video
might be working.
Yeah, it was a good idea by Coach Jack, showing the 5'5" Olivia Schmidt, who has, what, a couple inches on Muggsy Bogues, right?
He was listed at 5'3", the shortest player in NBA history, but I like the idea of watching film to help teach.
Townsend and North Carolina with under a minute to go here on the road in Syracuse. That sterling road record looks like it will remain intact despite the turnovers tonight and the improved defensive effort. Syracuse thinking they had another turnover there, not quite.
They're calling that a kick. Did she kick it?
I think
or did it hit her foot?
yeah, that's the question. Kelly.
I mean, Syracuse's ball pressure here against North Carolina has 5 guards on the floor. You know what, though? This is going to be good for Coach Banghart. It's going to be good for film.
Kelly.
And you know what? They're playing Louisville next.
On the road.
Oh,
yeah.
Listen, they're going to bring the heat, the pressure for 40 minutes. It's not going to be situational. And Jeff Wall's team right now has a lead over Duke at halftime. They're playing their best basketball.
Road does not get any easier, in other words, for North Carolina, as Kelly gimpy as she went off there at the end of the game.
Syracuse timeout.
Syracuse timeout. The Orange back home high, but Debbie, if you're Syracuse now, are you thinking, is it the 3? They need to pick up some points, obviously, in a hurry. They hit 6 of their first 6 in the third quarter to make it a 5-point game? Or do they keep trying to go inside?
Well, you're going to have to shoot the 3, and you're going to run some plays to shoot the 3. North Carolina does have some fouls to give. If they choose to give, they've got 2. Syracuse doesn't have any more timeouts left, so Coach Jack's got to make the most of this one right here.
Burroughs has started to pick up her game. All 12 of her points coming in the second half, 4 of them in the fourth quarter.
So you're looking to aggressively trap and get a steal right here, because Syracuse also has 2 fouls that they can give. North Carolina can run the baseline here.
North Carolina with 19 turnovers tonight. Handling the pressure here. And there's another turnover, that's 20. But the clock ticking away, under 20 seconds for Woolley, who just lost her balance, lost the ball, and Crisp missed the layup. Well, she did it the hard way.
Coach Jack has about had it right here. She is so fed up with the end of the game here. She's frustrated with her team and frustrated with the officials. She thought Woolley got fouled at midcourt.
Hey, let's go here again.
And a tough stretch for Syracuse. This will be their 3rd consecutive loss, as the regular season looming ever closer, the end of it. And North Carolina continuing